What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to today's episode of Why Did I Buy a Mini Truck? As you can see, we have the truck up in the air. I do have a jack back here on the rear axle because I don't want the bags to fully extend down. The shocks that are in here have way more travel than the bags do, and I don't want to risk anything with that. I don't want to separate the hats or tear a bag or something weird. Doesn't matter, all that stuff's going to get taken care of later. What I've got for you guys today, oh, so shiny. If we come in here, went ahead and got all of the soundproofing done in here. So we got the roof, got all in here, all done. So give you a little rundown of some of the stuff we did in here. So we laid this Rockville soundproof mat down, and I'll tell you, for the money, it is definitely worth it. I think I paid roughly $190, and I did everything in this truck I wanted to, and I still have about 6 feet by, I think it comes like 3 feet wide, so 6 feet by 3 feet. And it is definitely great. Sticks super duper well. I added a little bit of heat in here, basically just put a little portable heater in here and let the whole truck warm up as I was laying everything down. I did find that it helped it really get into the grooves, kind of stick up a little bit better. So, you know, we have the DEI spray sound deadening on the doors and on the lower portion of the dash / inside of the firewall. I did go ahead and lay a couple pieces inside the door as well. We also got back here in the fold down seat area. Now inside of here, I did use a expanding foam insulation, and I'll tell you what, I mean, it works. Like, it works really well. So definitely a cool way to get around wrapping that. It's kind of a weird setup. And then there's also like a carpet that goes over it, and we're gonna have a fuse panel sitting back here and a bunch of stuff. So just spraying it in those openings was definitely the right way to go. So the roof, really glad we did that. I mean, it is solid. So can't complain. I definitely am glad we took the headliner down when we did. I noticed that these 2 beams here had separated from the roof skin, so I used a liquid nail and essentially a jack with a section of 2x4 to support the beams up to the roof again, the roof skin. And after that liquid nail had started to dry, I went ahead and also sprayed some foam insulation in there, and it worked great. Pulled those supports out today, and it stayed up there. So definitely a successful attachment to the roof skin. So we do have a couple little pieces up here on the wiper cowl, nothing too crazy, but just to kind of quiet it up a little bit. So I'm very, very happy with how it turned out. Like I said, if you're checking it out, I'd recommend it. Rockville, I think it's a good quality butyl sound deadening mat. I mean, really, for a fraction of the cost, I think it works just as great. So we got that all done. You know what that means? Oh, yeah, so the windows are out. Also, the back windows are out. The very back window and the front windshield are going to be coming out soon as well. And that is just in preparation for straightening up the cab and doing some painting. You see we got a little tiny dents here and another one here, a couple on the doors. Not a huge deal. Still need to go around and pull all of the trim off from around here and just get everything prepped to spray. But that is not what's important right now. Ooh, cool shot, looks good there. What we're going to be focusing on this weekend, finally, is the front end here. So we are going to pull all of this out. Everything's coming off, and I will clean these frame rails up. We're going to pull off the manual steering rack and arm, or shaft, and we're going to be cleaning all that stuff up as well, doing any little service things, probably replace that rubber sits in between here. It's in good shape, but I have heard of some guys doing like a solid or even like a poly disc, so we'll see how that goes. So we're gonna clean up the frame rails, and they will also be sprayed. So they're actually going to be painted with a not like an undercoating, but just like a heavier duty like frame paint. I don't know what to call it, but something that's going to be chip resistant. You know, it'll just be nice to have. All the new steering stuff obviously is clean and good to go, so that doesn't need to be prepped or painted or anything. We will be boxing the upper control arms finally, and we'll be getting those powder coated, and then we're going to reinforce the lower control arms with the Roadie Fab kit also, and get that shock mount and stuff all set up, and then we're going to get that stuff powder coated. Now, one thing I am a little disappointed about is that this little cross brace right here is supposed to be able to unbolt it. I guess at some point in this truck's life it was welded in. Not a huge deal. The shitty part about that is that I can't replace it if it gets worn through. The only thing I can do is add plates to underneath. So while we're doing all this good stuff, we're going to add a 1/4 inch plate across the bottom, so that will just kind of help. There's also 1/4 inch plates along each of the frame rails all the way back, and we are going to also make sure that those are all good. If we have to, cut off the old ones, weld in some new ones. We're just generally going to go into this area, get it all nice and clean, pull the booster off, the master cylinder for the brakes coming off, master cylinder for the clutch is coming off as well. We're really just going to dive into here. I got to take the wiper arm assembly out and remove some of the surface rust over here, and then we're also going to paint. All of this will be nice and painted. But before we do the paint, once all this is prepped, we're going to go ahead and drill out what's left of the spot welds for the front radiator sport in preparations for installing the new one. I'm not super proud of how these welds came out. They are kind of poo-poo, but let's be real here. They are not going anywhere. I mean, these front tubs are solid. So, like my grandpa used to say, a grinder and paint make you the welder you ain't. We're going to come in here. We are going to grind all this down, clean it up, and then I think we are just going to do a seam seal and then just paint it. It'll be good to go. We are going to pop out all of these little plastic things. I got a couple brackets I need to pop off, but it's all going to be worth it in the end. So I'm happy with how the tubs came out. Not the prettiest welds, but that's what you get using flux core and not welding for forever with flux core or just in general. Once the wheels are off, we are also going to be doing the front rotors, new pads. We might get the calipers painted and kind of clean up everything in there, paint this knuckle and everything, just kind of clean it up. So we got just regular disc brake replacement for it, OE style pad. We are also doing wheel studs all the way around. So since we were going to be doing that, I figured I might as well just do new wheel bearings up front. So we got new wheel bearings. I got all the grease and everything. We're going to do that as well. The wheel studs I got are a little bit longer than factory, which would be cool. I do have some new open-ended lug nuts that are going to look great on there. And then we also have the truck up this high for a couple reasons. So this is pretty much the height the truck's going to live at for the next like couple weeks. We have a lot to do under the truck, right? So I need to finish removing the old parking brake cables. I need to get under here and remove some of the aftermarket exhaust hangers that are on here. We are also going to be pulling the gas tank. So after a lot of consideration, I have decided that we are going to run a fuel cell back here. Not for any particular reason other than the fact that this is the Japanese D21, right? So the fuel pump assembly in here, I mean, you could find it online for like $200. but you have to get the whole assembly. It's not like I can't just replace the fuel pump itself, which is kind of shitty. But that's not a big deal. Since we are going to be moving all of this air stuff into the bed, I'm actually going to go ahead and we're just going to mount a fuel cell back here, and we will have, just like everybody else, the filler somewhere in the middle near the tailgate. You know, like everybody does it. I was thinking about doing something cool, but the reality is it's like that's the most cost effective, and it's also like the most logical, right? Like there's a lot of stuff I want to do that's just not in the wheelhouse, right? Like if maybe I did maybe if I like raised the floor in the bed, right, I'd have some other options, or whatever. Or if I was going to leave my tailgate stationary, I could run a hose up and then have it where you fill it in at the back of the tail, like through the tailgate, right? Like this way through the tailgate, and it fills down into the fuel cell. But I want to be able to open my tailgate, and the bed's not raised or anything. It's just a factory chopped up bed, I guess, at this point. So we're going to be tackling that as well. So the fuel tank's going to come down. Kind of sucks. I'm pretty sure it's like a 3/4 of a tank. So I'll figure out what I'm going to do with the fuel that's in there. Maybe I'll just turn the pump on and run it into a can and take a look at the gas, see what's going on with that. We are also going to be doing some stuff back here with the 4-link. So we have this reverse 4-link setup. The downside is that I can move my rear. I mean, not much. I guess the axle doesn't move side to side like too much, but like it's like this much, and I don't like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this 4-link all apart, and we are going to be taking a look at probably replacing the bushings in here. Let's see. Just some small things are going to happen. We're going to be doing our shock mounts finally, which is another reason. I have decided, since we are going to be getting rid of the tank, our shocks are going to run from this bar here, and they're going to go down to the axle. So it'll be perfect. It'll be out of the way of everything. It'll look cool. You'll be able to see it. So that's really it. There's the old headliner over there. That's just like a cover. I was thinking about getting like a new headliner skin, like just like a replacement headliner, and then wrapping it, but I'll have to see what the condition of this is once we get all that pulled off. If it's something I can save, cool. If not, well, we'll just start fresh. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I definitely appreciate everybody watching. It was cool to see 100 views on the new video posted just a few days ago, so that was awesome. I definitely appreciate you guys. The next video, all of this will be blown apart. I promise. I'm going to try to edit like a big boy YouTuber finally. But you know how that goes. We'll see how things kind of play out with that. I am thinking about doing like a head mount or chest mount GoPro. So hopefully I'll be able to put some footage into that while we're doing the work. And I especially want to try to get some footage of welding the upper control arms and the lower control arms, or I might just make that like its own video. I'm not 100% sure yet. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you guys enjoy seeing the progress on the mini truck. I think it's super cool. I mean, when we first got it, I thought for sure like, oh, I'll just throw, a little bit of money into it. We'll clean it up, and then we'll just drive around for a little and we'll sell it. But this thing has grown on me, and I'll tell you what, it's like we're a whole parts truck in that cost just as much as this truck cost when I bought it. Though we did get a lot of parts off that thing, so I am grateful. But at this point, I'm just going to stop adding up totals because it's getting kind of depressing. We're not in a whole lot, but we will be once like the paint's done and like, all of this is done, and we spray the frame and we do whatever needs to be done to get the fuel cell, the pump, and the lines, and it adds up quick. But that is the cost of mini trucking, my friends. So with that little bit of knowledge there. I will catch you guys in the next video. I hope you guys have a great week and weekend, and I will catch you guys in the next one.